So I got my main Switch here, day one Switch. Yeah, I got rid of the gray Joy-Cons, gave them to my brother when I fixed the screen right here, and it is old. It's showing its age. This, like I said, it's an original one. You can see the kickstand back there. And it's time that we start talking about the Switch 2. Just like it's time for you to hit that subscribe button and help me get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. So let's get into it. Now, the Switch is on its last legs. It has lasted longer than most consoles have. And we already have the next generation of Xbox and PlayStation. Usually consoles all go together, but you know, Nintendo does what Nintendo wants to do. And that's a hard thing to actually think about. I was just telling my oldest friend, he's been wondering why they don't have baseball on the Switch in Nintendo Sports like they had in Wii Sports. And I was just like, Nintendo does what Nintendo does. So let's first acknowledge what Nintendo has said, that they want to create a new playing experience. And they have done that before. You know, N64 was revolutionary, and that controller was weird all over the place. And they fixed the controller in the GameCube, but the GameCube wasn't as popular. So we got the Wii with motion controls. Then they decided, hey, let's do a gamepad with an actual physical console. Again, different, didn't really work out, but you know, played differently. You could play these AAA games like you would on the TV, handheld, which led us into the Switch, which was, you know, a 2-1 console. You could go handheld, or you could play on the TV. You didn't have to worry about linking a gamepad or anything. You just picked it up. So Nintendo does have this history of changing how you play your video games. Frankly, as I explained to, again, same best friend, you know, the most popular game really on the Switch, the one that's beloved, is Breath of the Wild, and that was a Wii U game. That was ready day one for the Switch, which makes me also wonder why we haven't gotten more ports, but that's a whole different video. But yeah, Nintendo is known to change things up, and they've been doing this pretty much since the beginning. If you look at the switch from NES, Nintendo Entertainment System, to the SNES, you know, everyone's like, oh, it's a little different, it's just a little bit more. No, they add more buttons. They changed the shape. They changed, you know, how powerful it was. They changed the size of the cartridges. Then, you know, SNES to the N64. That controller changed a lot. And you got 3D graphics. You still had the cartridge, but, you know, again, different. You couldn't do what you did before. And then, of course, going to the GameCube, you went into disc. Again, a controller change. You know, they took the idea of being able to play your Game Boy games, and they made that more prominent on the GameCube. Then, of course, comes out the Wii. Drastic change. Motion controls. Still disc-based, but bigger discs, like actual CD size, not the mini CDs. And, you know, they had the nunchucks, the Wiimote. And then, again, Wii U. Again, it's supposed to be like an add-on, a more powerful version of the Wii, but it was a drastic change with the gamepad. And, you know, utilizing that. Then, of course, the Switch. And the reason I'm rambling about all these changes is because one of the biggest things that everyone has been talking about is backwards compatibility. And backwards compatibility has not been easy for Nintendo systems. This isn't like Xbox, where pretty much you can play all the Xbox games. And that's an exaggeration. I know there's a bunch that you can't play, but definitely from 360 all the way up, if you have a disc-based system, you can play them. There's no reason for me to have the 360 anymore because I have the Xbox One, just, you know, original edition, game day launch, and it plays my 360 games. I just have my 360 because I never threw it out. So it's not like that. And so people are like, they have to. No, Nintendo does not have to. Nintendo does not have to do anything. They have a business model that is very clear, if you're paying attention, that they do not care about backwards compatibility. As I started this, Breath of the Wild is one of the most respected and popular games on the Switch, and that came out for the Wii U. I cannot play my Wii U version on the Switch. Literally, if I did not buy them all used, Nintendo expects you to pay full price for these old games when they come back out for the new console. They have shown that they will take down their digital shops, the eShop, the virtual console, just so you will have to buy it again. So I don't think the next system is going to be backwards compatible, which I know is probably going to piss off a lot of people saying it, but it's like, eat your vegetables. You have to understand, Nintendo has a history of not making things backwards compatible. And frankly, I think the last time anything was truly backwards compatible, there's a few systems I can think of. Game Boy, Game Boy Color. Game Boy to Game Boy Advance. DS to 3DS. Wii games to Wii U. That's not a lot of systems. And frankly, a lot of those systems, like the handhelds, yeah, they did pretty well. We don't really have the numbers because they consider like all the Game Boys like one thing for a long time. But Wii to Wii U, not many people bought the Wii U. Frankly, it hasn't been played so much that they're bricking as of today, which is March 9th. There's a problem that they're bricking because people really haven't played them. So when it comes to their larger consoles, backwards compatibility just has not been built in. Like, recently, the Game Boy games have started to come to the Switch. That should have been like day one online stuff. Isn't there. So temper your expectations when it comes to backwards compatibility, because Nintendo is known to re-release games just so you pay the full price, and full price is now going to be up there. It's at best what's Metroid Prime Remastered, the $40, I believe, or it's going to be full price $70. Somewhere in between 40 to 70. So I'm sorry for being the Debbie Downer. It's not what I want. I want, just like many people want, I want a more powerful version of this. I want to be able to use my large collection of Switch games on the next console. I mean, the space in the system, like, you don't need this to be thinner. It's pretty thin. I mean, it's a decent size. You just need a better processor. They already have the OLED screen, so you can have that. Better battery life, which most likely will not happen if they up everything. But yeah, you just need a little bit better hardware and the same form design. And that would make a lot of people happy. That's what everyone's expecting. What everybody wants. But again, Nintendo does what Nintendo does. They do not care. Like, it's a different sensibility. And I'm kind of upset about it, because I'm looking at this generation, and I came into it a little bit late, but spending still full price for a bunch of games when I'm really trying to find them. Like, Switch games, they hold their value. You might get like maybe $20 off used, but they really hold their value. And so I have this collection. I'm like, I really want to be able to play on the next generation. Looking at all the consoles that I have, and it's like, Nintendo, please do something solid for us. Don't make this harder, especially because prices are going up. So I know this is going to upset a bunch of people, but yeah, backwards compatibility probably not going to happen. I hope to be wrong. I hope that, towards the end of the year, when they start really should ramp up this idea of what's coming next, is I hope everyone comes back to this video and be like, you're wrong. You were wrong. You were wrong. You were wrong. I hope I get ripped apart. I hope I'll just be happy. Hey, I get to play all these games. If I have the money to buy the new console, because the OLED was kind of a letdown. It was kind of a letdown because these versions, yes, this is the day one, they kind of just hang out in the dock. If I go mobile, I'm going with my Switch Lite. Yeah. So, takeaway from this is, probably no backwards compatibility, and something that is probably fundamentally different. And it really, I hope that they make things a little bit easier for the consumers and developers to, kind of just enjoy themselves with the console. And they're going to have something powerful, because they're expecting Call of Duty to have all functionality. And I know everyone's like, Call of Duty on Switch. No. By the time that deal goes through, it's the next generation. So they have to they're thinking about something. There's something in the works. It's just, what does it look like? So that's my views on this. Like I said, this is speculation. But historically, I just don't see them doing anything really backwards compatible on their larger console. So please leave comments. If you liked it, hit the like button. Dislike it. I'll get back to you. I typically always do, unless you're spam. And trust me, no one's won anything from me in a long time, so don't listen to those comments. Other than that, hit that subscribe button. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. You're at the end, which means you're an amazing person. We love you over here. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.